Stephen, you're officially Irish senior manager, something you know that has been coming for a while. In the end, happened a little earlier than expected, but how would you sum up your first few months in the job?
First few months, right. Well, it's been a bit surreal, of course, because of the circumstances and certainly with the COVID lockdown, I think. But, you know, our vision is clear. Like we want a consistent sort of pathway for players over the next few years that they can accelerate through the age groups. We want opportunities for players to develop players. We want them to be exposed to international football all the way up at different age groups, and to do well at the age groups so that we can get them exposed to major championships at any level that we possibly can. It's not easy to qualify for the underage European Championships, but certainly, and from my point of view then, it's just been about like looking forward to the year ahead, which is very exciting. You know, a lot of people now are very hungry to go and do well in the campaign. We want to make sure that we're very, very well prepared, and that the players enjoy coming into the environment and enjoy coming and representing Ireland, and that our preparations are good and we can go and it's clear information. They all know exactly what's expected of them, and because the players are absolutely a pinnacle of their careers playing for Ireland. They absolutely, you know, it's what they look forward to. It's just international football, playing for their country, and over the next couple of years, an opportunity to go to have the European Championships in Dublin and the World Cup in the next 2 years. So the opportunities are there, and so it depends how we do.
The Nations League campaign just around the corner now. Does it all start to feel very real from here?
Yeah, no, it does, and I think I feel so privileged because you might have taken over and there might have been a sparse amount of games, but for me, we've got 6 Nations League games, home and away, which give you World Cup qualifying points. And I think a chance to get into the World Cup playoff, all of a sudden we'd like to do well in the group anyway, because we're proud people and we want to do the best we can, and we want to try and do well in the group and get promoted from Group B into Group A. But I think the fact that there's a potential World Cup playoff is something to aim for. I think obviously the Euro playoff is the big game as well for us against Slovakia coming up, which is a tough game away in Slovakia, no doubt about that. And I think obviously World Cup qualifiers in March, so a lot of games this year potentially, and we must see that. We must see the potential that exists there. Like, it's incredible, really. If it were to go well between now September and June, you know, you could be playing 16 international games in that period. If we were to go well, but it depends on, you know, whether we can qualify and so forth. You know,
one challenge you do face is you won't have much time with the players when they fly in on Sunday before you head off to Bulgaria. Do you think you'll have enough time to get across some of your philosophies to the players before that game in Bulgaria, or how are you going to approach that one?
Yeah, like I've never been fixated on one system, and you know, I think what we've tried to do is look at the players we've got and you know, pick a way of playing that suits the players. I think the basic fundamentals are still the same, in that we want to play out from the back, we want to control games, and we want to create chances. And you know, I think we want players who really love playing the game, who want to express themselves, and who are determined to do that and brave enough to do that. And I think you know, it's a great opportunity, really, and you know, we're definitely very excited about the games next week. But you're right in relation to how we're going to get that across. The players are only in Sunday night, Sunday afternoon. So we've only got 2 training sessions, Monday and Tuesday, and we fly on Tuesday, and we've only got the session in the stadium Wednesday. So there's not a lot of time, and we have to prepare accordingly. We obviously have presentations. The coaching staff have been absolutely fantastic preparing presentations, and you know, it'll be clearly mapped out to the players how we're going to play, and you know, I think we've just got to set up the training sessions on Monday and Tuesday to make that clear. And but you're right, it's not a lot of time, but those are the challenges. But they're intelligent players, and they're used to tactically changing with their clubs. So I don't think, you know, we're not going to ask anything that's unreasonable, and I think or unachievable, and so that doesn't faze us really.
You named your squad just the other day. You had plenty of time, obviously, over the last few months to concentrate on picking those 23 players, but I imagine there was still a couple of sleepless nights over the last few weeks as the day of naming the squad approached.
Yeah, they're very, very marginal decisions really, a lot of them at times as well. I think, you know, we have to take tough decisions. That's why you're the manager. I think you have to do that, and I think we've left some good players out of the squad. I think some of the players that have had, you know, good seasons for their clubs and some of the championship, we've left some good players out, and no doubt, you know, form dictates international squads. You know, some players go out of form at their clubs, and some players hit form, and changes can be made. It's not defined as one squad that will play in all of the games, and I think that's the nature of it. Whether I'm not just looking to bring young players in, I'm looking for us to be the best we can be as a team. Were
there any particular areas that caused you conflict?
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. It's not always straightforward decisions. Quite a few right through at the centre backs, and you know, in midfield also. You know, it's very competitive in midfield, and also we've left out 3 good strikers who played in the campaign and have been regularly playing in the championship, like Sean Maguire, James Collins and Scott Hogan, who, you know, all have a lot of pedigree, and you know, the door's not closed on any of those players, of course not.
It's an exciting time for Ireland fans, right? I mean, just listening to you speaking at your press conference the other day, you sounded excited about this team.
Yeah, I am. I think listen, you only get one chance at managing Ireland, and it is a massive privilege, and I think you know, it's an opportunity, and I do feel that, you know, we've got a lot of talent. You know, we've got a lot of talent, right? You know, I think you know, even though some of the players are experienced, some of them haven't played that many games. Like even Matt Doherty and John Egan, who are, you know, in their late 20s, have only played a handful of games between them, and in terms of competitive games, and really next year is the Euros in Dublin, and the year after is the World Cup, and they're in their prime now, so they know that, like, this is sort of the pinnacle of their career, and this is the opportunity that exists for them to try and qualify for the European Championships while they're at their peak. Because it's something, if you do qualify for the European Championships, it's something that you have reunions about in 30 years' time, and people reminisce. You know, it's very important in Irish society. When the football team does well, it has huge impact on people's lives. And I think I'm very aware of that, very conscious of it, and the players and their families, and it means so much to them. And I think that's to be welcomed. We should really embrace that and want that, and that should motivate us and drive us to try and achieve extraordinary things, which is what we have to do, because to get to the Euros, you have to go away and win 2 games against 2 highly ranked nations, in that we have to go and beat Slovakia away, and then either beat Bosnia away or Northern Ireland away. So we've got to win 2 significant away games, which in recent years we haven't done. So we've got to do something. We've got to find extra quality in our play and play better than we've played in order to do that. And hopefully we can achieve that.
What will you look for from your players? Obviously, you mentioned you won't have too much time with them before the Bulgaria game. If you can only get one message across to them, what would it be?
One message, right? I think the main message I would say is that you know, to absolutely have conviction. You know, one thing we're not going to take a step back. You know, I think our intention will be to I'm not saying everything is always achievable, but our intention will be to press teams high, to try and work hard for each other, to be comfortable in possession, in the 3/3. Their back four, when our defenders comfortable in possession, our midfield players rotating and fluid in midfield and good angles all the time. We want cutting edge in our forward play, but it's not easily achieved. We want a cohesive team unit. We have good players and as individuals, but we need to develop a cohesive team in a short space of time.
Is that something that's important to you, courage in your convictions? I'm just thinking back to when you managed Dundalk in the Europa League. I interviewed you just before your first game against Maccabi Tel Aviv, and I suggested that with kick-off approaching, there might be a desire to adapt a more defensive approach against a team of high quality that maybe you're not used to playing week in, week out. And I just remember you looked at me as if I had two heads. Is that something that's very important to you? Just you stick with what you know, courage in your convictions, your style of play.
Sometimes we underestimate ourselves, Sometimes we undervalue the talents that we have, and I think that's, I think that's just an opinion. That's just my opinion, and I think, but because I'm the manager now, my opinion counts, and I think I have an opportunity to get that message across to the players that we have a lot of talent in the group, and I think we have a lot of very good players, and I think we've an opportunity now in these 8 games to actually do well, and I think the players will be dreaming about the possibility of having the Euros in Dublin next year, and that's very, very special. There's a group, Sweden and Poland, in the group in the Aviva, to have all their families and friends in the whole country, and the possibility of that, playing those games at home, and then Spain and Bilbao, and they're three games that would be 3 of the most important games in our lives, So in order to do that, we've got to get big results. You can't. I know people say you can't look too far ahead. Sometimes you have to see what exists to go and try and achieve it. And we've got hard games against Slovakia. First of all, that game against Slovakia. But before Slovakia, we've got to go to Bulgaria and get ourselves ready for that.
Speaking there about the Euros, the possibility of the Euros next year, you seem to want the fans to be excited. You're brimming with confidence. Previous regimes have been a lot more cautious with expectation.
Yeah, no, I don't want to create false expectation. I think I'm not trying to deliberately talk us up. I'm just saying that we have a lot of good players. We will show ambition, and I think the players, it was really, really honest group of players who love playing for Ireland. That's it. You can sense that, like, there is a misconception about modern players that and even young players, not like not as professional. In my experience is coming in, even dealing with somebody at underage level and going right up to the 21s, that the players love playing for Ireland at all levels. They really have a huge desire to do that. I mean, playing for Ireland means everything to them. It means everything. And once you have an opportunity to do that, and then with the competitions that we have coming up and the amount of games, you want to absolutely make sure that you leave nothing behind you. That you absolutely give yourself every chance of winning, and that you defend the way you need to defend. That you put your body on the line, and that you're courageous in possession and go and try and create the amount of chances that we need to create to win games. And that's the way I see it.
You're speaking there, Stephen, about wanting to unlock the potential within the squad and the talent that exists within the squad. Not too long ago, it was said that we simply don't have the players. What do you make of this? Yeah,
no, I can understand that. Like, we don't have the players that Belgium have, for example, or or we haven't got Hazard or De Bruyne, or we haven't got, we don't have players been nominated for the Ballon d'Or, but we certainly have, players that are playing at a very, very high level, and and I think we're not going back to years when the Irish team was populated with 4 or 5 players from Liverpool, or Liverpool, Manchester United, and Arsenal in those periods. Now we don't have that many players playing in the Champions League, but we shouldn't use that as an excuse. Like, we have a lot of good players who are playing at a high level, and a lot of them are playing in the Premier League in England. Some of them are playing in the Championship, and you know, I think you know. So I'm not, you know, I wouldn't underestimate the talent that we have either.
Stephen, did you ever envisage you could go from managing Longford Town to managing Ireland?
You know, I think, you know, it certainly wasn't on the horizon back then managing Longford, but that was a great opportunity. It was a great time, great learning curve for me, really. It's a great group of young players, and a great journey with the community in Longford at the time. And yeah, we went from in the bottom of the first division into Europe, and up into the Premier and into Europe, and you know, I learned a lot, and a lot of very good people then. So no, I couldn't envisage at that time, you know, that I'd be managing Ireland. No, it's not realistic to suggest that, you know, although I would have never ruled it out. No, but I don't think it wasn't realistic to suggest it.
If I told Stephen Kenny back then, one day you're going to be managing Ireland, what do you think you would have said to me?
I don't know. You know, I thought maybe I wouldn't have thought it was that crazy an idea, you know. But I think, you know, but you haven't achieved anything at that stage, you know. So you still have a lot to, you know. You've proved nothing, you know. You've proved nothing, and that's the thing about this job. As a manager, every week you have to prove yourself. You might have a good season, and you know, it's quickly forgotten about. You know, every single week you have to prove yourself, and you know, so it has been a great journey. But I'm not sort of patting myself on the back for that, because I think now you know, you've got to prove yourself again next week, and that's the nature of it, like, you know. And I think anything you do gets quickly forgotten, and you've got to go again, and constantly have to improve, evolve as a coach, as a manager. What you did 3 years ago isn't good enough. You know, everything changes at such a rapid rate. You know, I think you've got to constantly evolve. You've got to constantly get better, and you know, you can't do the same year 2 years in a row. You know, you've got to make, you know, constantly adapt, and that's the way that's genuinely the way I view it.
When did managing Ireland become a realistic goal on your radar?
You know, I suppose maybe with Dundalk, when we qualified for the Europa League and played consistently those 12 games in that season in the Europa League, and played obviously teams of the highest calibre, and played in a way that people could relate to. You know, I knew people looked at the team and felt that this was different. This is different than what we'd seen before. An Irish team come playing out from the back, controlling games, and against some of the better teams in Europe, and performing like that. I think people felt, a lot of supporters of Irish football looked at it and thought that it was unique, and it was different, and that the ambition was different, that the technical ability was different. And I think from then on, you know, there was sort of groundswell of support at that time I felt from people to see a new way of playing with the national team. And I think, you know, I felt from that period, you know, I think that was a pivotal period.
Although the fans can't be there in the stadium, particularly for the home game against Finland, have you felt support from the Irish fans?
Yeah, you know, I think it's listen, international management obviously can be very uncompromising business. You know, I understand there's a lot of brilliant people who've been in it, not just in Ireland, in other countries, and you know, they haven't had pleasant experiences. Like, you know, I do understand that it's, you know, it can be the harshest of times, and the times between defeats are long. You know, between the matches in club management, you get an opportunity the next week, but in international management, it could be a month or months, period of months. So it's and you know the feeling of, you can see the feeling of losing. You're not just, it's not a club or a town. You're letting your country. You know, you feel that. You know, so I do understand all of that. But that motivates you.
Talking of that uncompromising nature of international management, you've already come in for some criticism before you've even sat in the dugout. Can he win over a dressing room packed full of Premier League players and Championship players? You haven't done it in England. What do you say to that kind of criticism?
No, it's not something that really concerns me. You know, I'm not interested in that sort of. So I've no, everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's a free society. You can voice an opinion, but it's not something that really I give any credence to. Really, it's not something that concerns me. Bulgaria
and Finland, 2 games. I'm sure you're glad to have them put before the Slovakia game, just so you can really get a good look at your squad. Yeah,
I mean every game, every international game is is important, is significant, and particularly competitive international games. The Nations League is a new competition, but you're seeing the semi-finals and finals are amazing. Really, last year when you're seeing Holland and England and Portugal winning the final, you know, it was quite amazing, and you're seeing what it meant to the Portuguese players, who've already won the European Championships, and the Nations League, to them, the way they celebrate it was like the World Cup, you know. And I think you know, so it's been a real success, the competition, and we've got to go to Bulgaria. It's a great opportunity for us to go to Bulgaria, and then Finland at home Thursday, Sunday, quick turnaround, and so it's a great challenge for us. And obviously there's a lot, you know, 3 new players coming back into the squad, having not been involved in a few years. 4 players been promoted for the 21s. You know, 1 or 2 new players coming in as well. So there's a new sort of vibrant feel to it, if you like, as well. And how people how it goes initially. Is there a bedding in period, or will it work straight away? You know, I think that'll be the few days we have on the training ground will be critical for us to have form a cohesive team and to get ready for Bulgaria.
You spoke earlier about how if Ireland qualify for a major tournament, it lifts the country, it really changes the mood in the whole country. Is that what drives you now as Ireland manager? Bringing joy to the Irish people?
I think it's the pinnacle of your career as a manager, to manage Ireland, you know, to manage a country. And I think when you've been given that opportunity, you want to make sure no stone is left unturned, that you actually maximise. Your job as a manager is to maximise the potential of players. Football is about players, always has been, and I think your job as a coach is to maximise the potential of players, and you know, so we've got to unlock the potential of each individual and of the team, and hopefully we can be successful and it can lift the nation, because that's what you want. You know, you want the players, the connection with the players and the crowd. You won't have at the moment because of the COVID crisis, but you want them to sort of do well over a period of time and inspire people and do well and qualify for tournaments, and then that could be special then, and you know, and everything, you know, the profile of the game itself, football at all levels of the country improve, and because football in Ireland has come in for a lot of criticism at all levels for a long time, but it is the biggest game in the world. You know, and it's the most participated game in Ireland, and with the numbers, you know, the numbers is phenomenal, and certainly from grassroots levels all the way through, and I think so the national team represents all of those young players, and certainly and represents everyone who follows Ireland. So you certainly want to do it justice.
Stephen, we wish you the very best of luck over the coming months and the games to come. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Ann-Marie. Thank you.